So this is it, my range of kit bags with Velocity Pro gear, starting from the first one, the 7, then we've got the jobbing bag, soldering bag, kit bag light, and then finally the servicing bag. So we're going to have a good look through each of the bags now and what went into designing them and all the features of the bags. What's up guys, happy Saturday. Slightly different video from me today. You may or may not know that I've got my own range of tool bags that I make with a company called Velocity Pro Gear. I thought I would do a behind the scenes video basically to give you an insight into the steps, how I got involved with it, how I got the opportunity to do it, and how we go from an idea in my head to the finished kit bag that you can buy, and go step by step through the range from the first bag I did to the latest bag I did, just so you can see, you know, how it's done and hopefully make an interesting video. And just to let you know, if you're watching this on the weekend of Friday the 3rd to Sunday the 5th of December, we've never done one before, but we've actually got a discount code for the bags. PB12 will get you 12% off, but it's only while stocks last, unfortunately. So I hope you enjoy this video. So this is Tony from Velocity Pro Gear.
Oh yeah.
When I first met Tony, it was just you and Reese. So Reese is a plumber like me, gas engineer.
Yeah, still on the tools.
And just tell us how Velocity started.
Well, we started designing a cheaper range of tool bags around the 40, 50 plus mark, which were great and worked really well with a 12-month warranty. Then we spoke to a lot of customers who were interested in a more premium range. So we looked into it further, started doing a few designs, started with the 6 here, which you see here now, which is on a 7.5 base. And one of our USPs was being able to get into the central compartment. So rather than just having 2 sides with drop down panels, we designed it so you could put something in the middle. So you can fit a combi drill in there, an impact driver in there, any bigger tools in there that you might need. So that was our USP on our first bag, and that kind of continued then onto the 4, which is just the baby brother of the 6. And then we went into the backpacks, which you can see above here, which is our 5.0. This is our new version with the orange detailing, as you can see, with reflective strips on the front and a torch in the top. And this is our baby brother version of that, which is the 4.5, which some people find more manageable than the 5. Apples and oranges again. Some people like bigger tool bags, some people like smaller ones. And then we've got the 2.0, what we call a grab and go little service bag, which works for plumbers and sparkies and other trades as well.
And you kind of branched out into the van bag. That's a
and the van
one.
bag, yeah. Well, you and I had a chat about the van bag, if you remember.
Yeah.
And this is one of our best sellers by far. I mean,
that was my idea, everyone, just so you know.
Utilised by many trades, by all trades in fact, or anybody that's got a van. I think you've probably seen it on the YouTube videos as well. There's been many YouTube videos on that particular bag, which is a great addition to anybody's van. This is one of our newer bags, which is a 7.5 tester bag. Pete's got this as well. Inside there, so for sparkies, your mega tester in there with nice velour dividers there to keep it nice and clean and not scratched. And a lot of plumbers are using this also as well for their analyzers. So yeah, that's one of our newest ones, which is the 7.5. And we've got a few other bags in the lineup as well, which is the 3.0 here, which a lot of carpenters will use this bag. It's an open tote, very sturdy, removable pot, through pockets there for your hammer, jemmy bar. Again, central divider there, so you can put your impact driver in there, combi drill, whatever power tool you want will generally fit in the middle there as well. And then again, storage pockets, vertical storage pockets at the front there as well. So that's one of our really good sellers as well. A lot of carpenters use that as well. And we've got quite a few new bags coming out in 2022.
So these are all your bags.
Mm-hmm.
Tell everyone how it came about. Well, how did you come to work with me and we made the PB bag?
Well, actually, me and Reese designed this together initially, the 6.0. Wanted to bring a premium tool bag to the market, which was workable for the trades. Obviously, I used to be an ex-carpenter. Reese is still on the tools, as we've just mentioned. And I sent this to you, I think, didn't I? And I said, could you have a look at it for me? And you kindly had a look at it and gave us some feedback on it. We changed it slightly moving forward. And I think we just went from there, really. And we put it out there and people, you know, it was really received really well as we moved forward. And then it just expanded from there. We knew that the quality was there for the customer. And as I said previously, we went from the 6 to the 4 to the 5, and then just expanded the range as we went along, and then got involved with you, designing tool bags specifically for plumbers, and where possible can transfer over to Sparkies as well. So yeah, that's kind of the crux of it, really.
Okay, so that's Tony's collection of bags. Now we're going to go next door and have a look at the ones we designed together. Right, so we'll start with the first bag, which is the 7.0. So the story of this was the design that I'd always wanted to make. It's based loosely on an old DeWalt kit bag I had when I was an apprentice. If you had one, you'll notice these straps. So the way this one worked, I got hold of, I drew out a rough design of what I wanted on a piece of paper. If you asked Tony, he'd say it was like a kid's drawing, just a basic sketch. And then just tell him what you do when you get one of my sketches.
We'll get your sketch, we'll have a look at it, we'll discuss the different types of things that you want to put on the bag, and then I'll draw it up a little bit better than your kid's drawing, and we'll draw it to scale, send it to the factory and work on the first sample.
And this was, because this is the first one I did, I actually came down to Velocity. I brought my old DeWalt bag, we cut it to bits, you know, dissected it basically to see how it worked, because the one of the main things was, because it's a heavy duty bag, how we were going to join these straps and it'd be able to take the weight. Obviously we've got a tough base. The DeWalt bag was material all the way through and quite a flimsy bag, whereas this one's really tough. So after my drawing, dissecting the DeWalt bag and coming up with this design, Tony doing his 3D sketch, then the bag manufacturer makes the first prototype. And obviously I'm working as a plumber, Tony's doing his job. When we got that, Tony then drove over to me, met me at a job. I was servicing a boiler with the first prototype. The first prototype on this one, it weren't too far off, was it?
No, it was quite good, to be honest. I think we only did 3 samples before we went to production, final production. Yeah, it went really well.
So the way it works is we get a sample of Tony's drawing, and then it comes and then we pick it to bits. We check every single thing. Is there enough pockets? Do you want that pocket there? Are the straps right? Are the internals right? And looking at this, the final bag, there'll be differences, like you won't have this detail on the pocket, it would just be a plain pocket. Things like the detail for the look of the bag get added last. But the first prototype on this one wasn't too bad. So you make your changes, you write on the bag, you draw, add pocket here, make this pocket higher. There was 3 maybe, now there's 4. They weren't big enough to fit what I wanted to fit in, so they get changed. The strap to hold the torch on was too loose or too tight, it gets changed. This detail was added, just little things.
We also strengthened the 4 corners, didn't we?
Oh yeah, we strengthened the 4 corners. So well, obviously we'll have a good tour of the bag in a minute, but in these corners here, there's a metal bar in each corner, which makes this bag proper tough. Like, you cannot bend this bag. So obviously we'll run through everything on this bag. So we've got the sample, and in between that we went over to China, didn't we?
We did.
So we went over and we sat with the guy who makes the bags, and we sat around for hours, and we just basically went through everything just to make sure that this bag was perfect. That was obviously a really good experience for me. Me and Tony went over together. How long were we there for? 5 days?
5 or 6 days.
5 or 6 days. And that was the, I don't know, just I found it was a really good experience. And you get to know things like the way they make the bags. Like, something in my head, I might think, oh yeah, I want this on the bag. But Tony knows, and the guy who makes it knows,
if it can be done or
not. If that can be done or not, because sometimes the way they put them together, the way they're stitched, some things aren't possible.
It's true, it's very true.
So, you know, I might say, I want it to have this, and he'll say, well, we can't do it like that, but we can do it this way because Tony knows how they're made. So that was quite educational for me. That's helped me with the rest of the bags I've done. But then the other thing is, like, I might say, right, I want this, this, and this on the bag. And then Tony has to think, well, if you want all that, the price of the bag, because everything you add on, it increases the price. Because you might add so much stuff on to the fact that then you can't.
It's not always just about the materials either, the extra cost of the materials. It can also be it's the actual labour of doing it. If it's so intense when you're adding so many different items to it or different ways of doing it, that can put the labour costs up as well. So we have to be mindful of that when we're designing and manufacturing a bag.
Well, it seems like our job if you're fitting a boiler and they then say, well, can you fit these radiators as well? It all adds on to your labour time, makes the job longer, makes the job more expensive. And then other things like the moulds, like I really wanted the removable tub, which is here. So we had to have a mould made for that. So these can be basically made, manufactured. The moulds alone are in the thousands, like tens of thousands of pounds for the base, for this, anything that's plastic basically, you have to have a mould to make, so that all adds to the cost. So should we do a little tour of this bag? We'll shut the bag up and then we'll start from the front. So this is the first one I did. We've obviously got two nice big pockets on. The idea of those were you could get a socket set or something useful in the pockets, and then we've got a zip pocket at the front for little bits. The straps pull out, so if you want to put in your spirit level, slide it in. When you pull the handle up, it grabs it. Or your benders, a bit of copper for the job, a bit of wood for the job, anything you want, you can lift it up. That was also another reason for the flat top. If you want to carry stuff into the job, you can sort of sit it on top of the bag as you're carrying it in, so that has got a use. Double tape loops. I wanted one for a tape and one for a mini spirit level because I carry both, but some people will keep two tapes on there, a big one and a small one for different jobs. And then the pen holders, I wanted them big enough to take either a marker pen or a decent sized screwdriver or something like a fluke tester. And then around the other side, rather than be the same as that side, I split the pocket into two to give you more variation of what you could keep in there. And then a zip pocket. Now you'll see I've got my initials on there, PB. I think this was the last thing we thought of.
Yeah, it was.
Can I get my initials on the bag? It was a vanity thing really, but I also thought guys will get their own initials. So it comes with mine on, but you can take that off and you can get your own initials made, or you can get your company logo embroidered and personalise your bag.
Yeah, that's via our accessories page if anybody wants that option.
Okay, obviously the tough waterproof base, and then on the inside we've got the removable tub which I spoke about. Originally there wasn't a pocket there, we put that pocket in last, kept it slim so it didn't get in the way of this, but also meant that this wasn't a wasted bit of space here. So these are the kind of things you have to think about as and when you get your prototypes. Nice big clear zip pocket along there. Originally I wanted that with two zips that went either way, but then you couldn't get your hand in, so that changed. The work mat, so Tony designed and made his own waterproof cotton work mat. That's got its own pocket in the bag. That was a big thing that I wanted to do. One of the early ideas was the lid. It was a silicon.
It was going to be a silicon tray, wasn't it?
Yeah, like a silicon tray that attached to the top.
Or a magnetic one, depending on where we went.
Yeah, something that was my original idea, but we soon binned that off for the work mat. I think that's a better idea. I'm glad we did that. And then the vertical storage along the side, but then also leaving you a nice big area in the middle for bigger stuff like power tools, big socket sets, hammer, stuff like that. So that's the bag. Obviously you get a shoulder strap with it so you can carry. That's the new neoprene one. But yeah, this was, would you say, when we first did it was like a limited edition, we were only going to do a certain number of them.
Yeah, correct.
But it was so popular, people are still buying them now. So they're still, we're
We've had
still,
about 3 runs on them now.
yeah, we're on the 3rd run of these. So it's been a really popular bag. And that was the first one. That's the original PB bag. So now we'll look at the one I designed now. Screwdrivers, long screwdrivers in the lid, and then the zip, so you can store stuff in there as well. Originally that zip was at the top, and then we changed that so you could put stuff in while it was down. This changed quite a bit because of the way we put the screwdrivers in, so that they didn't hit the edges, stuff like that. How far they were apart, so the handles didn't rub. A lot of thought goes into everything, as you can imagine. But anything else you want to say about the original PB?
No, fantastic, mate.
Have we covered everything?
Yeah, covered it.
Right.
Oh, we just to mention, we were going to put some bungee cords on the top.
We had a bungee cord originally on the top,
So we've now got on the 7.5.
stuff you could put on the top to carry. You could sort of strap it in, but I didn't like that. Tony liked that, and now that is a feature on one of his new bags, which is the
7.5 tester bag.
7.5 tester bags. That's got like a bungee cord, so you can actually secure stuff to the top of your bag. Right, let's move on.
Think of these, killer. Are these a bit up your street, them, ain't they, son? No.
Right, so due to the success of the first bag, that led on to me being allowed to design a second bag, which I never thought was possible. So that's what this is. This is the jobbing bag. Now this is just a very small stripped back version of the first bag I did, the 7.0. And the idea behind this bag was to have a bag where you could just load it out with kit. So if you're doing like a pump swap, you put your pump in there, your valves, and just the kit you needed for that job, take the bag in, do the job, and that was it. Rather than take your whole kit bag in, because you don't need all your screwdrivers, adjustables, hammer, everything you keep in your normal kit bag for doing certain small jobs. So that was the idea behind this. So these, we call them premium kit bags. They're tough, well made. They're an investment because the price point, I remember the first time I was looking at buying one, it took me ages to decide whether I wanted one, because you think, oh, I can just get a tote bag for 30 quid from B&Q. They don't last very long, but the jump up in price, it makes you question it. I just wanted something a bit more entry-level price so apprentices could get them.
I mean, the quality reflects the price point.
Yeah. So that's what this bag was designed for. So it's very similar. It's got the same straps so you can put stuff up the side. It's got the tub in so you can put fittings, things in there. It's removable. You could also use it to catch a bit of water in if you wanted. And there's plenty of room in there for your fittings, toilet siphon, pump, whatever. Again, you can customise it with your own initials patch. And as far as the design of this one went, originally it had the work mat in it, a big pocket there with the work mat in the end, because I thought if you're using it for maintenance jobs, like you're going around doing some TRVs, you'd have the mat in there, your TRVs and stuff. But because of obviously you got the price of the mat, it would have added to the price of the bag, so we decided to take that out.
And the room also in the bag as well.
Yeah, it gives us a bit more room, so we changed that big pocket on the end for these two double pockets. There's a little bit of vertical storage there for a couple of pairs of grips, some screwdrivers, but it's very basically stripped back bag. Comes with a shoulder strap.
Corners are reinforced again.
Corners are reinforced. It's still tough, still a well-made bag, but just stripped back from the original design, and that's the PB jobbing bag.
Retaining the leather detailing as well, mate.
Yeah, I mean it's still a premium quality bag, but because we stripped back the features to try and keep the cost down. But yeah, that's really the only design thing we changed. After we had the prototype, this one was pretty much there.
Yeah, it weren't far off. I mean, it is called the jobbing bag for a reason. You know,
Yeah.
Like you said, throw a few TRVs in there, go around, change them. You've got the space to put the rubbish back in as well.
Yeah, so I think we only had two prototypes of this. We took the work mat out to keep the cost down and give us some extra pockets inside. Still got your tape loop on there. It's quite a popular bag, this one, and I use it. I've got two in my van, so I use this one quite a lot. Right, next one. Okay, so this is the PB soldering bag. It's definitely my favourite. I think it's Tony's favourite as well.
Definitely.
So much work went into to getting this one right. Now, I'll tell you the design process of this one. It's slightly different to the others. So what I got was, Tony told me the size of the base. that we're going to be using, which is, what size is this?
15 inch.
15 inch. So what I did for this bag is I got a piece of cardboard, 15 inch, made a couple, and I would stand my kit on it. So I had my gas bottle, my flux, my wet rag pot, and I was just drawing where I had them on, where I wanted each section. There was quite a lot of changes made to my drawing before we had the first prototype, because there was like, we've got this pocket here for your burn mat. Originally I designed like a sort of section there which had a false back where you could slide it in, and then these pockets were on the other side of it. And that was one of those things where in my head it seemed fine, but actually to make it, it wasn't possible. So a lot of things changed. There was a lot of work went into like the pipe slice dock. We had to have a mould made for that. We had a few different designs of that.
I think we went to about eight different samples for that,
yeah,
didn't we? And ended up with what we've got.
A lot of samples. Obviously it's not cheap to do that, but we needed to get it right. So
we also wanted to make it removable in case there was any issues or any breakages. So
yeah,
it can be replaced with the.
So you can take these screws out and replace that. The pot seems straightforward enough, but we had to have obviously that designed and made. The pot size to fit in the same size hole as a gas bottle, so you could put put 2 gas bottles in there. You could stick your pot where your fire extinguisher is meant to go, or you could have 2 pots in there. Just little things like that we had to think about. This bit here is removable. You just pop that Velcro off so you can clean if anything gets stuck down there. Obviously we've got the pot that's from the 7, so that's pretty straightforward. Flux brush holder, that's another thing we had to have a prototype made for and a mould made for. So that's a clip on the bag that you slot that in. All these little design features made this one probably the most complicated one to design, but the most enjoyable, I reckon.
I think so. I think
quite a bit of fun making this one. So this is the soldering bag. This one's really popular. I don't think we've had any bad feedback about this. I love it. People always telling me they love it. So we've got fire extinguisher, big section in the middle for anything you need to keep in, tubs of flux, wet rag, solder wire, your Milwaukee pipe will go in there, a few vertical storage pockets, pipe slice dock, gas bottle, wet rag pot. I use that. I've got a spare one of those as a flux pot. Vertical storage in the corners so that's not wasted. The removable tub there, you can put paste in there, a few fittings, yeah, anything you want in there. Big pocket that goes the whole length of the bag for your burn mat. You can get a couple of burn mats in there. It's a nice big size pocket. Obviously the flux brush holder we talked about, some vertical storage. It's still got a tape loop on it. And then a nice big pocket at the front that sits your torch off, because really you should be taking that off the gas bottle, not keeping it on. That sits nicely in there. Yeah, again, it's proper tough. You won't break it. Don't try, but you shouldn't break it. And it again comes with the shoulder strap. So that's the 8.0 soldering bag, my favourite. Right, so after the soldering bag, then I had an idea about bringing out a limited edition camo version of the original bag. But then we was chatting to Tony and we said, well, how about we make it slightly different and make it about 20% smaller?
Yeah.
So it's a more compact version. In fact, it's called the 6.5 Light, because it's Kit Bag Light, because it's a lighter version of the original bag I made. So it's almost identical, apart from it's smaller and it's in a special camo print. The one thing we did change is on the inside of the bag. We took the work mat out at the end. We put 2 extra big pockets in, just to make it slightly different, because yes, it is designed to be a smaller version of the original bag, but we also wanted to make it slightly different. So it gives you the option, if you don't want to carry around your work mat in, if you use dust sheets or anything else, this bag, you've got 2 nice big pockets at the end. But everything else is the same. We've got the removable tub, we've got the pocket there, nice big clear pouch there. The vertical storage, because it's a smaller bag, rather than 4 of these, you've got 3. Same long screwdrivers, big full length zip pocket there. And on the outside, obviously, we've got the camo detail, which looks really cool. Got your torch dock. This is magnetic to hold your torch. Pen holders, and then as the original bag, you've got the double pockets this side with the zip pocket, and then the single bigger pockets this side. And then what we've got on this end, I can't remember. Still got the double, yeah, the double tape clip. So one for your tape, one for your spirit level, or 2 tapes if you carry 2 tapes. And again, comes with the shoulder strap. This is, I personally prefer this one for the size. Better size, do you think?
I think so. Yeah, it's more manageable. You put less tools in it.
Yeah, obviously the thing with these bags is because they're, again, this one's reinforced in the corner, so you've got the metal rods, so it is tough. But with a bag like this, if you absolutely fill it with kit, they do become heavy. I mean, they're designed to be heavy. It's not going to break because of the weight, but if you've got a slightly smaller bag, it becomes slightly more manageable if you fully load it out with kit, because you can get a lot of tools in there. But yeah, design wise, size wise, I just think that's a lovely bag.
That's perfect.
I would say that, but I mean, look at it. It's beautiful.
It is.
So that was that, and then I got the chance to design another bag. Right, last bag. So this is the 9 servicing bag. Now this was an absolute ball ache to design because there was so much to think about.
So much to fit in.
So much to fit in, and just things like the gas flow analyzer. There's so many different brands. There's different probe and hose to think about. It's just, yeah, a lot of thought went into this. And I would say, if I'm being honest, this is the first bag I designed for other people. All the others I've designed for what I wanted from a kit bag. This one obviously is what I wanted, but also I've thought about other people. So this is the sort of slightly different. So yeah, let's talk. We had, how many samples did we have of this one? 4.
Yeah.
And it was we sat. I remember one day you came to my dad's.
I did.
And we sat for about 3 hours just
going over the different ways of production.
It was definitely the most difficult one. So start off, the most noticeable thing about this one is you can use it as a backpack. I personally don't like a backpack, but I know a lot of guys do. So we designed it so you could use it as either a bag on its own or a backpack. This was a right ball ache, wasn't it?
It was.
To get this on. We were hanging this from a bar with, how much weight did we have in it?
22 kilo.
22 kilos in the bag, just testing and like walking around for hours, making sure that it was strong. Obviously trying to think of a design that would work and also be easily removable for people who didn't want to use it as a backpack. So that comes with the bag. You can, if you don't want to use it, remove the straps pretty easily. But again, like I just said, they are, when they're on, they're strong, even though they remove as easy as that. And then you can leave this padded section on, so if you walk in and that bit's against your side, or if you take that off, for the guys who don't want to use it as a backpack, you have got features on it as if it, you know, as if the backpack part wasn't there. So it's got a nice big pocket there and a little one there. So let's talk about this one. So the handle on this one has got the Cobra clips that's removable to get it out of the way. And we'll talk about the front first. So lift that up. This bag's brand new, so it needs a bit of persuasion. So we'll talk about the front section. So what I wanted from here was all the vertical storage you'd expect from a bag like this. But then the way I run my service bags, I have smaller tools that get lost in this section that I use all the time, that I wanted clear at the top and high enough so that this stuff wasn't getting in the way. So I think out of all the bags on the market for vertical storage, this one, in my opinion, is the best. Just because you can use this row for the stuff you need to get to quick, the small stuff, and you've got loads and loads of vertical storage here at the bottom to get the rest of the stuff in. And then 2 nice big clear pockets, because when you're servicing you have a lot of small stuff that won't suit a vertical storage pocket that would get lost, and you can see that easily. Lots of like hoses, small bits I wanted to be able to access easily. So that's the front of the bag. Did we make any changes to this?
We added another top pocket there, didn't we? We were going to put the warranty registration in there,
Yeah.
and we changed it so we could have two more, another sandwich bag.
So
Make
I'm
it two.
really pleased with that bit. Then we'll go on to, we'll look at the sides last. Let's go on to the other side. So this section here, we've got fleece lined deep pockets. Now these are designed to take your flue gas analyzer, printer, and if you use a multimeter or any other instrument, fleece lined to protect it and big enough that they all fit in. And we tested all of the analyzers, they all fit in, printers, everything. So a lot of thought went into the sort of size and spacing of this bit. And then above it, we've got a pocket there, and then a pocket for a power bank. Now originally, do you remember I said I wanted a power bank in it that had like an LED strip, so that when you open the bag, it all lit up? That's just one of them things that I think, yeah, that'd be good on the bag. And then Tony says, actually, we can't do it because of the price. If you stitch a load of lights in and they break, you know, you've got to then repair it, and
Exactly.
just things like that. So that was one of the things that got scratched, but it has got the pocket for the power bank and then a little rubber grommet there so you can run your lead and charge your electrical equipment. Your iPad goes in here while it's still in the bag while you're in transit, so you're not, you know, going to a job and your analyzer's dead. And then we've got, just to make the most of the space there, rather than have nothing there, we've got a nice zip pocket at the back. So that's that side. Now the most challenging part was this bit. Can you take that out?
Yeah, of course.
So we've got the removable tub there. So the idea behind this was I wanted something to take the hose and the probe for your analyzer, and then there's a grommet in the bottom, a hole there, that your wand can sit through. So it sits in the bag and the wand goes down into the void. There's a little spacer there. You can see that.
It also can be removed as well if you wanted to go to the bottom.
And then we've got this foam pad, which gives us about a 2-inch tray. So you can put plugs, leads, charge cables, stuff that's sort of messy that you don't want in your vertical storage in the main section of the bag, out the way because it's hidden under the tub. But you could also take that out, and then that leaves you enough room at the bottom to have like your leak detector fluid, tubs of paste, even a small drill. So you've got a bit of customization there depending on what you use the bag for. Also I wanted, because you have a lot of hoses and leads, it comes with some Velcro straps to keep them tidy. So just the little things I was trying to think of that you need from a bag, so it's got everything on it. And then the tray pushes back in. That's pretty hard to design, wasn't it? We had to,
It was.
the width of it. Can you get your arm into the bottom?
We made a hole there as well to make it easy to pull out.
Yeah, a hole to make it easy to pull out. We had to try all the different flue analyzer hoses and probes in there. Yeah, it was just a lot of, it's quite a bespoke bag, this. So, and then we'll look on the side. So one of the most asked questions I got when I was reviewing any kit bag was, can you fit a manometer in it? So we made these pockets on the side. Your Regan manometer will go into that pocket. The short one sits just below the bag, and then the tall one sits about 2.5 inch higher than the bag. Mirrored on both sides, so you can choose which side you put it on. But this side will, on my bag, this takes my handheld multimeter, my fluke tester, and then these are big enough to take your fluke pen. So I have like an electrical side of the bag for doing my dead testing, make sure the boiler's safe before I work on it. And then this side you've got manometer, and then your most commonly used screwdrivers, like I've got a Torx 2.0 Phillips and a slotted screwdriver, and then just some pens and stuff. So I tried to think of everything that you would need to access quickly to go on the sides. And then on the front you've got D-rings, so you can hang whatever you want off the D-rings, and then a nice big pouch at the front, which I wanted to keep a socket set in, because we all use a socket set. Leather, that's designed to match that. That was like another thing we discussed after the first sample. What else what can we say about this bag?
if you're not going to use the bag as a backpack.
Oh yeah, so I made a mistake on one of my YouTube videos when I had the first finished prototype of this bag. The idea in my head was that we would have what are they called? What are these straps?
The fidlock D-rings.
These fidlocks. If you weren't going to use it as a backpack and you didn't need these, I wanted the bag to come with these as a spare with a D-ring on, so you could hang stuff off. And I said on the video that you get them with the bag, but the price of these, if you were going to use it as a backpack or not use them, we would have made the bag too expensive. So that was just something that we couldn't include with the bag. But if you do want this bag and not use it as a backpack, you can buy these as an extra, and then they'll just clip on, and they have a D-ring on the end, so you could attach something onto the bag and then quickly take it off, use it, and then stick it back on the bag. Again, you can personalize it with your own initials or your embroidered company logo, and then when you finish with it, the strap just clips back in like that. It's easy with one hand. There we go. Really popular bag. I've had a lot of good feedback about this one. And yeah, that's the latest one. Do you reckon he'll let me make another one?
Depends what idea you come up with.